talking about not giving up, never, why you should not. Clementina Okonye. I know Okoye. I know Okore. I know Okole. And I know Clementine, but this is Clementina Okonye. Good morning to you. So, Aussie Sightseer, how you doing? Diddy boy, I see you. So, I was talking about David Nwanza. There was a bird then growing up. Its name was Nwanza, little bird. That bird was very smart then. I don't know if we still have it in Africa. The name then was Nwanza. I don't mean you are Nwanza or David, I'm not talking about, but there is a bird we had in Africa, very small and smart. Where are my homies at? I'm not seeing people, man. This is discouraging. 60-something people on TikTok. Waiting they happen. I didn't offend anybody now. So let's continue. So, Chukwe Bukandi, I see you. So this morning program is about, because this my YouTube distracted me. Tigra, I see you. Tigra, I see you. This my YouTube distracted me. So let me go straight to the topic. I'll make dad. Fellas, I see you big time. So let me go straight to the point now, which is marriage and relationship. I was about to say something before my internet messed up, but let me go straight to marriage and relationship. Why I came out this morning is, it's almost afternoon. Why I came out this morning is, there are a lot of people who are in marriages they are not happy about. Many people are in marriages and they are not happy in that their marriage. Hold on. Many people are in relationships and they are not happy in those relationships. Grace Mumbi, I've always told you the hard truth. Yeah, that's the truth. Now, let's go. I always say, the person you marry, the person you are in relationship with will determine if you are going to make it in life or if you are not going to make it. The person you married or the person you are in relationship with. Now let us go. So many businesses collapsed today because of the woman or the man you are in relationship with. Don't be in a rush. So many marriages or relationships, I mean, not marriages, not relationships, so many businesses collapsed today because of your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your husband. Starlight, I see. Starlight, I see you. See, at times, it is not spiritual problem that ruined your business. It's not always, everything is not spiritual. Do you understand me? See, at times, you made the wrong choice in life. Now I'm talking about business. See, Your business collapsed because of the person, in some cases, the woman or the man you married or you are in relationship with. There are so many men who were doing well in their businesses. So many men who were doing well in their businesses. I'm using business now. I'm not talking about the job you do. Business. There are so many men who were doing well in their business until they meet their wife or their girlfriend. Immediately they met their wife or their girlfriend, their business collapsed. Not that the woman went to do juju or anything. Look at what caused the collapse of that business. Some women are very jealous that you are not supposed to bring them to your business place. Listen, some women are too jealous. Maybe some girlfriends are too jealous. Let's say you've built customers for many years before you knew that woman. You've built your business. Maybe your business is based on women or men. Are you listening to me? And you've been working hard. Enam, I see you. You've been working hard, building a future, building your business. And then you see a beautiful woman or a handsome man. Let me say it, or a handsome man. And you start and you go into a relationship with this woman or that man or the man. Let me use a woman now, for instance. Let's say I'm going to talk about men too. See, you've been building your business for many years and everything has been going well with you. Then you saw a woman that you admire, decided to take the woman, maybe start befriending the woman or later married the woman. As you married the woman, then you decided to bring the woman into your business. As you brought the woman into your business, guess what? The woman then starts becoming jealous of your female customers. Do you understand me? All the female customers that have been coming, maybe you have a beer parlor, drink a bar where women comes to drink. Maybe you sell cosmetics, or you sell hairs as a man, or maybe you sell women undies or bras as a man. Maybe you're selling bras. What's it called, bra? Or undies, women wears. And you know, somebody who sells, women stuff like undies and bras and all this hair scarf and things like that, scotters and the rest of them. Most of the customers are women. 90% of the customers that will come to patronize you are women. And over the years, you've been able to build customers that usually come to patronize you. Then you saw a woman you like, started befriending this woman, and this friendship ended in marriage. So as you married the woman, you now brought the woman into your business, not knowing that this woman is a jealous person. So what the woman, most of these kind of women, I told you, don't forget the topic. The person you marry may determine your success. Now you bring the woman in your business. Each female customer that comes to buy something from you, the woman will begin to jealous, argue with the female customer, thinking the woman came to, some of them may think that those customers are your girlfriends. Some women will use attitude, very bad attitude to chase away your customers. Are you listening? Some women will use very bad behaviors to chase away customers you have built for many years. The same thing is applicable to men. There are some asking to help to deliver it. He will have bad attitude. There are also some men. You as a woman, you need to be careful who you go into relationship with. You've got to be careful who you marry. Some women have seen it happen. Some women built businesses, grew their customers. They have very strong customers. That's customers they have built for many years. Many women were doing well in their businesses until they met a man. The man they met, they fell in love with, was the person that ruined their business. Some men began to sleep with their wives' girlfriends. Any customer that came there, some men began to sleep with all the customers of their wives. Not only that, there are so many men who are not careful with money. Some men do not know how to manage money. I have seen men who are in marriage and they use the money the wife is making to go give girlfriends. Some men ruined their wives' businesses by playing lotto. They are gamblers. See, there was one Iraqian a woman from Iraq. This woman worked hard all the days of her life. She was a civil servant, a nurse. She worked hard all the days of her life. Listen attentively. You know this tradition of us get married as Africans, see marriage or value marriage. That's how some of these Middle Eastern countries like Iraq, Iran, that's how they value marriage too. So this woman married a man from her country, the same tribe. They are living here. Guess what happened? This man was a chronic, you know what I mean, a chronic gambler. This man withdrew, when there are some couples who use the same, that is, who, like some women trust their husband so much that they give their husband their credit card, bancomat card, This bancomat card is for you to, what's it? You can use it to go do shopping, withdraw money from the bancomat and things like that. Guess what? This woman gave the husband the bancomat card. With the bancomat card, the man made a minus of over 30,000 euros. Yes, we call it, Esther, we call it bancomat here. Or credit card, debit card. Yes, ATM card. We call it bancomat. With that card, the man withdrew over 30,000 euros. Yes. Guess what? Did you know what the man used the money to play gamble. And he did not win. Put man in financial problem. Guess what? The woman has 3 boys with the man. The woman decided to call the marriage quits. She decided to divorce the man. And this happened in old age. Listen, this happened in old age. Listen, now the question is, are marriages supposed to crash? Listen, are marriages supposed to crash when the couples are old? Listen attentively. Because there is a time there is an age you get to. You may see divorce as something that is no longer necessary. Most of the guys watching me here are grown men and grown women. Let's say if you are above 50, 55, going to 60, and your wife begins to misbehave, or your husband is no longer the man you used to know, listen attentively. Let's say your husband, the man you are seeing today, is no longer the man you married. He has changed totally. You know, humans change. Or maybe your wife has changed. You know, people change. And then you realized, nah, you are no longer happy in this marriage. Are you listening to me? And you look at your wife, she's 60-something years, and you are about 60-something years. What do you do in this kind of situation? Do you divorce the woman or divorce the man after 60-something years? Or if you're getting to 50 years, what are you supposed to do in this situation? Don't forget, your kids are grown. You've come a long way. You've come a long way. Simeda, this is not what we will come to that. Now, if you've come a long way with your wife or your husband, listen. Let's say I'm going to keep it real in this program. Let's say you built joint house. That is all your investment runs in both names. That is in your name and in your wife's name. Listen, you are so committed with your wife or your husband. Listen to me attentively. Both of you have very strong commitments and you have stories. And at the end of the day, your husband begins to have side chick. A man of almost 70 years is having side chick. Or turn to a drunkard or a gambler. Now your husband that was responsible, that was upright in his ways, getting to 50, they call it midlife crisis. Getting to, let's say, Esther, women can be so disappointing too. Not only men, but listen attentively. Let's say Esther, you are a young lady. Let us say you married in your 20s. Now, you married in your 20s. Now getting to 60-something years, your husband or your wife begins to misbehave. Your husband becomes a drunkard that he drinks and falls on the streets. Imagine the man you are so proud of now becomes a drunkard. Drinks and falls on the street. In some cases, there are some men that became drug addicts. They were not drug addicts before. Maybe they hid it from their wives or their husbands. You understand me? So you discover that maybe you are somebody is saying Jesus is the only way. Please, can you stop this your comments? Let's have a reasonable program here. How is Jesus involved in this thing we are saying now? How is Jesus the only way? I don't understand. Muhammad or Jesus or Islam or Christianity, they have nothing to do with this topic. Why are Africans so backward? We are talking about relationship. We are talking about Jesus. Is Jesus the person that makes decision for you? Do you understand what I'm talking about now? Now let's continue. You married a woman, a man. Maybe by the time you married the man, he was doing well, healthy, reasonable, as a man or a woman too. People change. Maybe your husband began to follow bad company, began to keep bad friends who influenced him negatively. Now, the man you married, the husband you married, now begins to go outside to sleep with young girls. And you've been hearing it, you've been confirming it, it is true. You as a woman, you are in your 60s. Don't forget, you are in your 60s. What do you do in this situation? You are in your 60s and your husband starts to cheat, begins to mess up, turns to a drunkard, what do you do in this situation? Simedo said, leave. Simedo, so you are going to leave when you are approaching 70 years. Listen, you are no longer a young woman that may find another man. You, as a woman, after even 50-something years, you don't have future with any other man. Yes. If you go to, if you marry any man, what future do you have with another man at the age of 60 years? You say you live, go where? You live and go where? You leave your children and leave your grandchildren and go where? As a grandmother, you want to remarry. Why? Listen. Why? See, men and women are not the same. Why do you think those our ancestors, those our grandmothers, great grandmothers stayed with their husband in their marriages? There are reasons why our mothers, that is great grandparent mothers, endured a lot in their marriages. I will tell you. See, never you compare a man and a woman. They are not the same. Wherever you live, don't you ever compare a man and a woman. There are differences, so many. You see, in some situations you need to leave. Somebody said in some situations you need to leave. Depends if the situation is life-threatening. If the situation is okay, why didn't our ancestors, like our grandparents, I met my maternal grandmother and our great grandmothers, why didn't they leave their homes when the husbands messed up? That is the question. Our grandparents, why did they leave their husbands' home? Why did many women endure polygamy? So many women endured polygamy when the back days the married multiple wives. How come stay? What is because that they don't have alternatives? It's not look. See, somebody said because they had no choice. See, it was because of the tradition demands that if you as a woman, if you are married, women were groomed for marriages. Women were trained to go into marriages. Don't you know? Women went to school. It's not that they went to go to school. Women were trained by their mothers, grandmothers, how they behave in marriages. Do you understand me? Even then, it was a taboo for a woman. It was, how do I put it now? How do I put it? When a woman returns back from the husband's place, if it goes back to the father's place, it's a shame to the family. Even it was a thing of pride back then that women stayed with their husbands, come what men, no matter the situation. Women were applauded for enduring harsh marriages, difficult situations. See, I know a lot of women growing up whose husbands misbehaved, but those women did not leave. Okay, let me tell you guys a story. Women of today, no, I'm not here to diss women. Women of today are quite different than women of olden days. We had a neighbor. This woman's name was a one-hooker. According to traditional beliefs, they said the husband that reincarnated me. Now listen, the husband died without giving birth to children. Listen, the husband died without having children. This man married this young woman. Few years later, the man died, leaving the woman behind. Guess what? This young woman did not leave the husband's house. She did not return back to the father's house because of the tradition back then. If you are married, you stay in marriage. If you are married, you stay in marriage. So this woman she lived in the husband's house, cultivated on the land the husband had then, until she died. Today's women, you don't even need to die before they move. Ordinary exchange of words, they tell you they are done with the marriage. Today's women don't even tolerate or endure anything. Ordinary exchange of arguments, they tell you you don't respect them anymore, that they are independent women and they are done. When you look at what's going on social media, I feel ashamed. Let me tell you, when I look at what is going on social media, growing up, women never uttered foul languages. To be honest, when I was growing up, you can never hear a woman say something like F you. Women never said it. Women of the olden days were so disciplined and cultured that men, their lifestyle need to be studied in the school. I'm telling you, their lifestyle needs, even not only women of the olden days, young women. Let me tell you, you may call it civilization. Let me tell you, growing up, you cannot see a young girl's laps, her legs. Listen, it was difficult to see a woman's legs back when I was a child. Listen, who are you to see a woman's laps? Back when I was growing up, let me tell you something. In my tradition, women they tie two wrappers, in order for the first wrapper not to be transparent, so that you can't see through that wrapper. That is why they tie two wrappers, to cover themselves very well. Listen, growing up then, as a little boy in the 70s, listen attentively before we continue. In the 70s, there was, I don't know about now, there was one thing they call half shimmy. Half shimmy then. Old schools, we know half shimmy. Every woman, young adults, women wore half shimmy before they wore their skirts. That half shimmy will protect them from, will stop you from seeing through their clothes. Some people called it underskirt. We called it then, it was known as half shimmy then. Very light. So that even if the woman is staying anywhere, you cannot see through. You cannot see her legs. Okay, let me tell you. Every woman, it was a necessity then, every woman had it. And back then, who are you to see a woman's undies? Who born you? Women, if they sit, they have their legs crossed, totally crossed, as if it is a war. Women closed their legs, crossed their legs totally. It was difficult to see a woman sit like this. Now women behave as if they are men. Growing up, women don't sit the way I'm sitting. You see women have their legs at all times. Just hold on. This is not old school. I remember around 1977, many of you have not been born. around 1977, 76, then at Wally War, there was a woman, a young lady that wore trousers. There was a young lady that wore trousers then. The whole street, the whole children came out, began to clap and follow the lady. In fact, it was strange for women to put on trousers then. I'm not telling you that, don't say I'm old school, but I'm telling you how women behaved, our culture back then. 2 occasions that I saw with my eyes, when women put on trousers, children began to clap and follow the woman at the back, say, hey, so this woman, we've never seen it. We did not see it. It was something strange. Now, just to tell you how life was then and how women behaved themselves. Women don't talk anyhow in public. Women don't talk anyhow. Then growing up, when 2 men are discussing issues, when men gather, women leave. I witness it. If a man should visit me now listen, let me tell you how it was in the olden days. If a man should visit me at home now, my wife is supposed to go inside her room. She is not supposed to listen to our discussions. But today, women want to hear everything. Listen, let me tell you how it was in the olden days. And this was what made marriages last. See, then if you are discussing with a man or another man comes to visit you, your wife will enter house. Today, what's going on now is, if you have visitors, male visitors, as you are opening your own beer, you see your wife open her own beer. Some women will even light up cigar in the name of they are civilized. As you are drinking, your wife will take her own cup. Listen, as you are drinking your own beer, the wife will take. This is not civilization. This is not being exposed. There are no longer respect in marriages. You understand me? One time, let me tell you a story. There was a couple here in Vienna who had misunderstanding back in the days. They called me. Guys, as you watch me, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube page. There was a friend of mine who had problems with the wife. They were having serious misunderstanding. They fought a lot back then in the 90s. So that was in the 90s. This, my friend and the wife fought a lot. He met the wife here. Listen, I'm not telling you that women that you married you met in Europe are bad, but I'm just telling you a story. Somebody said what I'm talking about is not respect but slavery. How can I? Do you know how come this? Hey, my business colleagues come to visit me at home. Or maybe I'm having secret business. Yes, I can have secret as a man. If I'm having conversation with my business colleagues or my friend, why should my wife be around? Why should she listen to everything I'm talking about? This is why marriages crash. You don't respect the man. You said it's not. What is slavery about it? If my business colleagues comes to visit me and then my wife stays to listen to all our conversations, what do you call that? Let me tell you, let me continue with this story. Now listen, you need to learn. You need to learn respect. They say respect. Okay, let me leave it safe. So now, even there are some women, each time the husband is on telephone, you see the woman pay attention. That is, what is it? What do you call that? Is that not living in bondage? How can I be making, you see a man on telephone and the woman will not give peace. You want to listen to all the things the man is saying on telephone. You want to grab, who called you, what is it? Let's continue. You see, every time time telephone calls, you want to know who called him. That is no longer like, that is, what kind of marriage is that? Marriage shouldn't, you need to be free in your marriage. Let me continue with this broadcast now. So guys, now listen. Helen, I don't listen to what my wife says on telephone. Why marry the person if you don't trust her? Why marry the man if you don't trust him? Why did you marry somebody you don't trust? That's the question. Why should you marry somebody you don't trust? That is the question. If you want to listen to all his conversations on telephone, if you want to be daba, you want to listen to conversations he's having with his friends, why did you marry somebody you don't trust? Now let's continue. Now listen. One of my friend, somebody said, then why hiding? See, they say, look, if you go to your Bible, they say, in the secret place of the Most High God. They say, he said, in the secret place of the Most High, God has a secret. Every human being must have a secret. It's not everything. See, let me tell you, life is about, there are things you keep to yourself. It's not everything about you. Your wife or your children are supposed to know. There are things that you keep, and this is what will guarantee you success in life. Life is deep. Do you understand me? There are journeys you go alone, you travel alone. You don't need any company. There are things you know that nobody should know. That's what makes you a man. This is not juju. Do you understand what I'm talking about now? See, there is what we call see finish. Don't allow your wife or your husband to see you finish. There is what we call see finish. If your wife see you finish, your own don't finish. Let me continue with this story now. Now let me continue. This my friend was having a problem with the wife. You understand me? This my friend was having problem with the wife. They called me to come and mediate, to come and make peace. Though this my friend was a kind one, two of them I can't understand, but I don't want to go into details. Now let's go. Somebody said something. See, if you want to learn, if you know, see, there is a reason why. I've said it before, let me say it again. There are places you go alone in life. There are places you go without your wife or your husband. Jesus had 12 disciples, but there were places he went with only 3. Peter, James, and John, the inner carcass. He left the rest behind and went with his inner carcass. Before his crucifixion, before he was crucified, he went to the Garden of Gethsemane. The Garden of Gethsemane, I think that's the name. Garden of Gethsemane. And he prayed only with Peter, James, and John. That is, he doesn't pray. He doesn't go to pray with all his disciples. Let me tell you why. Let me go. You want me now to go spiritual. Jesus, each time he went to Gethsemane, that Garden of Gethsemane, to pray, he went with Peter, James, and John. Let me tell you, there are people, when they are around, when you pray, that your prayer will not be answered because their spirit will pollute your prayer. Listen, there are people, don't pray when they are around. If you pray when they are around, that your prayer will not be answered. Number one. Number two is, Jesus Christ at a time had to carry one person out of town. See, there was somebody who was demon possessed. I can remember There was let me remember, either a blind person or something. Jesus wanted to heal that blind person. What he did was to take that person out of town. He did not heal that person in public. He had to take the person out of town. Did you know why? Do you want me to tell you why Jesus had to take somebody out of town to go heal the person? Because it's not everything you do in the presence of people. It's not, there are people that are not supposed to see what you are doing. If because of their disbelief or their negative energy. Listen at it. Because of their belief or their negative energy. Are you listening to me now? So now let me continue. It's not so for people who are arguing, it's not everybody that is supposed to if go deep or deeper. It's like you are going for job interview. You are looking for employment. You want to go for something that is very important in life. Not everybody is supposed to know about it. There are some people, if they know about it, that thing will not be successful. There are people, if they know about your plans alone, just know, being aware of your plans, it will no longer be successful. You will fail. That appointment, you will crash. Let me leave that. So now, this guy who was having trouble with the wife, now, this guy who was having issue with his wife called me to come and make peace for them. I went there. As I got there, the wife opened can beer. The wife opened can beer. This, I'm talking about an African woman. Before we finished, our, what's it called, conversation or making peace, that woman has finished 3 cans of beer, was shouting up and down, opening eye. You know, I told her, I said, Madam, look at you. She was seated on a table, sitting on her chair, opening can beer, pam, drinking and opening. I said, look at you. First of all, you are already drunk. You don't have discipline. I came to your house to make peace for you guys. And look at the way you are drinking and smoking. Some may say, what about it? There is everything wrong about it. You see, when you drink excessively, you begin to misbehave. You will not even know the time you start insulting yourself or disgracing the people around. I said, perhaps after drinking 2 or 3 cans of beer, the woman will start misbehaving, start abusing the husband. I know you may say, some people will tell you, my husband understands me. See, there is supposed to be a captain in every ship. There is supposed to be a captain in every ship. You cannot be equal with your husband. There must be a head of in every gathering, there must be a leader. In every group, there must be a leader. All you women that are saying 50-50, if there is no leader in a home, that home will be messed up. If nobody listens to the other, that home will be in a mess. That is why if you go to religious, let me take religious books. In school, we have principal. In school, we have general prefects. There is no organization you see president, general. In class, you have class prefects. In heaven, as they say in the Bible, God reigns. He is the head. He is the master. Everybody is, and listen to me. So why you as a woman, you don't want to see your husband as the head? You don't want to be obedient and humble yourself before your husband? I'm asking you. Here in Europe, you see a lot of women. They say it's 50-50. You want to share equal rights with your husband. The moment you say you want to share equal rights with your husband, the moment you are spoiling your home. Because if you don't show your husband respect, you are teaching your children wrongly. Your children are seeing how you are misbehaving towards the man you are supposed to respect. And your daughters will not respect their husbands in future. And tomorrow you see their marriages crash because they lack respect. Are you listening to me? That is how it is. So now, you have seen the difference between women of the olden days and women of today. Some women of today, many of them are smoking marijuana. They smoke marijuana. Many get addicted to drugs. They say they are civilized. Say they don't send anybody. Do you understand me? Women of today, they are shameless. A lot of women are shameless. They don't. Nah. If you go to social media and see how women talk these days, they talk without respect. They utter words. Even I myself, growing up, nah. Even they'll be calling women private organ openly like this, the way they call, nah, if you see. And there are so many young people watching social media. Children are watching social media. You see, women that are supposed to be mothers, oh, the way they pronounce female organ publicly, the way they talk about F, you go carry hand for head. You go carry hand for head. Even, maybe because, I don't know what happened. Maybe because I've been away for too long. I've been living abroad for too long. To be honest, growing up, I never saw a woman open her mouth and call female organ. I never saw, growing up, ask anybody, ask people of my generation, it was difficult. Even sometimes you'll be wondering, how did these women conceive? Because these women presented themselves so holy. You'll be wondering, how did they even get pregnant? Because they presented themselves so holy. Are you listening to me? Today, yes, these are women you will never believe that they go close to men. When I was growing up, women of the olden days, you will never believe. You will never believe that women of those days went close to men. All what you see, after sometimes you see their belly, their stomach rise. You see their stomach rise. But today, women don't want to listen to the truth. You don't want to hear the reality. Before you say one word, they say 50. They tell you that they are living in abroad, they are financially independent. They have been financially empowered. Some will tell you they don't need any man. Celeb. Now let's continue with marriage and relationships. That's why we are here. Would you divorce your wife or your husband after the age of 60 years if you discover that that man or that woman is no longer the person you married? What's your opinion? Now I'm going to give you chance to make a request and come up and tell me your own opinion. But to me, Francis Osagie, this issue of living alone, a lonely life, You are not supposed to live alone. Do you understand me? You are not supposed to live alone. A man, even if you go through the scriptures, man was not made to be alone. Do you understand me? Sparky said after 60 years, it's too late to divorce. What if the woman or your wife or your husband is misbehaving? What do you do? Maybe your husband becomes a drunkard or brings shame to the family. Or the man is lavishing money, lavishes the family's income, want to render the family useless, homeless. What do you do? In the olden days, now let me be factual here. In the olden days, our ancestors, our grandfathers married multiple wives, but they did not chase away the old woman, the one that was misbehaving. What they did was to abandon the woman. They give her one portion of land or build a hut, a small house for her where she would be staying, but they did not send her away. That was the tradition then. You don't chase your woman. That woman you married stays there. But you can marry many other wives. This was why our grandparents married multiple wives. Not all, though, but that was the culture then. As your wife becomes, grow older, and then if she begins to misbehave and you've gotten, grandchildren, what the men did then was they married another wife, younger wife. You understand me? But that first wife or second wife, they did not chase her, divorce or send back. So, first you said rude. How do you mean? How do you mean rude? How? But see, polygamy was African tradition. Even if you see, how is it rude? First, Salah, how is it rude? Polygamy was even African tradition. Even if you go to the Christian religion and Islamic religion, they practiced polygamy. How is it rude? Now tell me how. In the Bible, your prophets married multiple wives. How is it rude? Even in African settings, in Africa, what are you talking? He said, does it make it right? But you believe in what was written in the Bible. But you read the Bible and believe in what was, how you say it's not right. That means what was written in the Bible or the Quran wasn't right. Let's go to it. Okay, now, if you say that wasn't right, that means what was written in the Bible or in the Quran was not right. Because all the prophets in the Bible, all the prophets in Quran, many of the prophets in the Quran, they had multiple wives. Let's go there. Even in Africa, before what is it called? Religion came. Africans practiced polygamy. It has nothing to do with, in my own tradition, my great-grandfather married 12 wives. Has nothing to do with religion. Then even religion has not arrived Africa. Before religion arrived Africa, Africans were marrying many wives. Africans were marrying many wives. Which has nothing to do with religion. Who said it's foolishness? How is marrying many wives foolishness? Who educated this man? What do you know about life? Because most of today's women are selfish. Okay, I'm coming now. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. So, people, see, all of you that are saying it is foolishness, that means what was written, all the things that were written in the Quran and in the Bible are foolish things. Do you understand me? So all the things that were written in the Bible and the Quran, because the prophets in the Quran, and even in Islamic religion, up to today, they marry many wives. It's not even Islamic something self. Marrying many wives has nothing to do. In African tradition, where I come from, back in the days, I met many men that married multiple wives. Many in my kindred, there are people that came from polygamous homes. Do you understand what I'm saying? My great-grandfather married 12 women. That's how we came. So if my great-grandfather, I'm a product of polygamous family setting. So if my great-grandfather did not marry plenty wives, so maybe I wouldn't have been born. So maybe I wouldn't have been alive. Do you understand what I mean now? And come to our clan now and see crowd. If you come to my kindred and see people. Today you are saying, okay, let me educate you now. The Europeans you are copying, men are mad. See, the Europeans you are copying, that told you one man, one woman. The same Europeans are promoting same-sex marriage. You see, the same Europeans that you are copying, you claim to be civilized. You that is arguing with me now. The same Europeans you claim that they are civilized, they are the same people that are promoting same-sex marriage. They come to Africa. They come to Africa, they demonize your tradition, your way of life. They come to Africa, they demonize your way. They told you that marry multiple wives is evil, is primitive. That's what, because you don't believe in yourself, you don't value your own, you believe only what the West says. They told you marrying multiple wives is evil, is primitive. The same people who demonized your traditions, they are now coming back to tell you same-sex marriage should be legalized, is the way forward. Africa, you need to wake up. The same people who demonized your ways told you if you marry 2-3 wives, you are primitive. They see you as a primitive because you as an African man or woman, many don't use their brain. The same people now are coming back to promote same-sex marriage. What is in vogue now? What's go about? See men behaving like women. Yes, we need to talk it. Do you want us to go there? See today, because of what the West brought, see some men now behaving like women. Proudly. That's what you want us to promote. Though I have nothing against whatever, this is your body, this is your life. But make use of your brain. Is it better to have 2 wives? Or better to be in same-sex marriage? I'm asking you. Let me tell you, it is better for a man to marry 2-3 wives than a man to marry his fellow man. Or a woman to marry her fellow woman. It is unnatural. Let me tell you that it is unnatural for a man to marry his fellow man. If nobody speaks it, I will speak it. It is unnatural for a man to marry his fellow man, and it is unnatural for a woman to marry a fellow woman. Man, I say I run my programs without minding whose ox is God. I say it the way it is. A man can, if a man shakes me anyhow, self, if I will provoke. You don't come close to me anyhow as a man. I'll provoke. You don't need to come close to me anyhow or shake me anyhow. I'm saying in my mind. Do you understand me? I don't even. So guys, as you watch me, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's where we roll here. You need to support your brother. Yes, let's grow this channel to 10,000 subscribers. It is doable. It's not difficult. Here we say it the way it is. Do you understand me? I'm a man. And if I should live with somebody, I live with a woman. I cannot live with a man. For what now? What? How can I? Without positive and negative voltage, there will be no flow of current. Do you understand me? How can I? It's not possible. So we are discussing marriage here. Guys, have you followed? Somebody said 12 wives. That was, my grandfather died in the year 1911. My grandfather died, do you know, in the year 1911. Over my great-grandparents. Do you know how Africa was then? Africa was forest. Then these countries you see in Africa was not in existence. People had to populate their land. Do you know why? There was a reason why our ancestors, our great-grandparents married multiple wives. Then there was tribal wars. People fought for their land. You needed men, young able-bodied men to defend your land then. There wasn't anything like police. These policemen and police, this thing you see now was brought by this Western world. Do you understand what I mean? This police, this thing you are seeing today is Western ideology. They brought it. Back then, people, you depend on your children, your descendants to defend your community, to defend your land, your people. And then, people had to depended on agriculture. Do you understand me? They were farmers. Our ancestors were farmers. People farmed to survive. So you needed men, manpower. You needed young men and women to farm on the land so that you can survive. Human beings have been living from farm. You understand me? Going to farm, cultivating on their land. So if you have no children, if you don't have crowd, how can you survive? Are you listening to me? How can you survive if you have no crowd? So that was, I remember, there are some families that have large parcel of land. Back then, who will cultivate? It's not this today's buying and selling of commodities. You go to the market. People farmed on their lands to survive. So if you don't have children, who will help you farm? Don't forget, all these guys that are coming here and making noise, don't forget. This retirement benefit, pension, the money you get, was introduced by the West. Back then in Africa, there wasn't any, people relied on their children as pension. Our ancestors relied on us. That was African tradition or African traditional way of doing things. Parents, great-grandparents relied on their children when they get old. Their children had to take care of the children took care of our fathers. Does that mean? So you are telling me that was why there was reason why they married multiple wives. There wasn't anything like government then. All these institutions were not in existence. There wasn't anything like government institutions. Nothing like that. Communities thrived on their own. They made their own laws. There were kingdoms. Do you understand me? Nobody knew what was democracy. They never knew. So why should you blame men that married multiple wives like 140 years ago? It was African tradition before white man came to distort our way of life. What happened during the war, after the war? Nigeria fought war with the Igbos. After the war, the Igbos went back to farm. That was how they survived. If you have nobody to help you farm, how do you survive? See, back then, our great-grandparents, they say, our ancestors relied on their children. That was how things went back then. Ancestors relied on their children. When they got sick, their children were nothing. There is nothing like ambulance, return. If you get sick, your children are there to serve you, to help you in whatever way. That's why you have children. Your children are there to defend you. That's why you have children. And that was why a lot of men had many children, married multiple wives. Because they consider children, they see children as wealth. Okay, now look at Europe. So many European people don't even marry, don't even bear children because of the system. Here in Europe, I know a lot of Europeans that don't even have children. They work and they get retired and they get their pension. They don't rely on their children. European setting is different from African setting. In Africa, there are so many people who did not do civil servant jobs. They did not. They were businessmen. Some were farmers. When they grew old, they relied on their children in old age for survival. That's what I saw. And it's still happening today. Guys, I don't want to sit so much. See, our way of life benefited us then, and we thrived in our own ways. We were successful. We are doing well on our own before the Europeans came. Do you understand what I mean now? Today, you want to be like European. You want to be like a white person. You don't have culture anymore. You don't even, that's everything. You behave anyhow because you've lost your cultural values. Do you understand me? Great TV, I see you. So guys, I want to bring this broadcast to an end. I said, if you want to argue me, make a request, I'll bring you in. Let's talk about it. But since nobody made request, let me bring this program to an end. Two captains cannot captain a ship. In every group, there must be a leader. In every community, that's why they have community chairman, local government chairman. You as a wife, you've got to be obedient, submissive to your man, to your husband. There is a role that man is playing in your life. You don't know. You can't compare. There is a role. That man you are looking at anyhow. That man you are seeing anyhow, say he has no money. If that man gets out of the way, you will regret it. I mean, they tell you, you may say you will not see. I'm not saying in all cases so. You understand me? There are so many stupid men, no. I'm not exonerating men. There are so many stupid, useless men. But your man being around you is a defense. See, let me give you an instance because some people may not understand this. Unless you want to live a wayward life. Say you have a man in your life, protects a lot, means a lot. Let me tell you. When people see you, I know there are some women, even as they are married, they go out, they still go to other men. But there is a respect people accord you when they see you with your husband. There is a respect there is a way people see you when they see that you are living with a man. It's quite different from every time. It is quite different. It's different from every now and then you change men. Somebody said, see, Mojoko said, I'm talking about our traditional values. Can I wear my traditional Igbo attire? You see. So, I do not have right to talk about my traditional values. So why are you then using smartphone? You should have stayed back in the. You shouldn't be using tradition because if we talk about our this, you shouldn't be using smartphone. You shouldn't be watching television. Yes, you shouldn't be putting. Yes, you shouldn't be watching. Yes, you are not supposed to be using smartphone. You are not supposed to be. You are not supposed to use any kind of technological equipment. You revert. Don't use car. Don't fly by airplane. Trek wherever you go because that is technology. Don't use computer. You say I should be talking about. I should put on my traditional attire. Why are you using computer? Don't fly in the air. Why are you taking air flight? Why do you take flights to go to your destination? You understand me? You are not supposed to be on TikTok. Yes, you are not supposed to be on TikTok. You are supposed to use camel or horse and be from Europe. You use horse and be trekking to Africa. Don't go by ship or go by air. Don't go by water. Yes, you're supposed to trek from Europe to Africa. If you trek any year you get to Africa, you return back. It may take you 50 years of your life to trek from Europe to Africa. Because you should go to your cultural way of doing things or traditional way of doing things. So if I'm putting on, you see African mentality. If I'm putting on this shirt now, I'm not supposed to have African cultural values. She knows, okay, let me bring one person in, then we see.
How you going, brother? How you going, Uncle Roddy? How you going?
I'm doing good.
I really like things that, I really like the stuff that you said about, the African family dynamic. And you went back to history about like 100 years ago, before the police, before the government system, when people used to live in tribal communities. And it makes sense, the family that, like, see, I came up to just to add to the things that you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think people, people need to, it's good to, I really appreciate that you bring things like that. Because I think people are forgetting, and I don't blame them, because also, like, this new generation, they don't understand how people used to live 100, 200 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, people now are using smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
comparing with 50 years ago when you used to write a letter, right? Or when people used to, old way of communication. So things have changed. Same thing when it comes to families, right? Back then, you used to rely on your extended family, on your uncle, on your siblings, having 5 children, having 8 children. And people also should, for your audience as well, they need to know this. Back before vaccination was widely available, vaccine, right? The child mortality rate was high. So if a mother birthed 3 or 4 children, out of those 3 children, only 1 or 2 will survive.
That was the truth. I mean, that's the truth.
People need to understand this, and this is why African families back was bigger. They will have more children, more wives. So that way, if you give birth to 10 children, some of them, half of them, probably pass away before they turn 5.
Correct. That's a good point.
Because back there was no vaccination. So this is why people were having children, and plus you added the tribal warfare. The hunger also. Hunger was around the corner. Back then, starvation was not far away. Once bad season and a tribe will go hungry, people, famine was a common thing back in the days. Right? And this is one of the reasons why, procreation was very important for the survival of a tribe. Right? I think people are forgetting this. And the reason why people forget it, because now people are relying on government services.
Yeah.
Right? If you get in trouble, you call the police. If you get in trouble, you go to the nearest doctor to treat you, to give you medication, to go to the chemist to have these things, right? If you have any issues, you simply have to go outside, because people are now living in urban areas, like in bigger cities, where there are high population density, right? But 100 years ago, you would only 5 or 10 people in a vast land, right? And people need to work all day. You guys were working all.
This is interesting topic. It has an interesting.
Right? So back then, even now in other, if you watch a documentary, in other tribals area, people were not sitting idle at home watching TV or being on their smartphone or being on TikTok. You have to get up in the morning. Children were active in the family. Kids were being given tasks to do. They'll go fetch water. They get sent to do something. The mothers will go and do something. The fathers, the boys will go and farm. The mothers will cook. They'll go get wood and do these things, right? These are the way people used to survive back then. Everyone used to work. Okay? Kids are working, helping their mothers. The fathers, they go cattle, taking their cattle out, if you have cattle, or farming, or getting water, because these things were not widely available, right? And this is why back then men were encouraged to have more wives. And also, women, marriage is very, 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 very important for women, because in other cultures, a woman doesn't have a husband. A husband is your security guard.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell them. Yes, that's the truth.
Okay? Without a husband, if you look back 100 years ago, without a husband, it means that no one is going to protect you.
Not even 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 50, 60 years ago.
50 years ago. So when you are married, now you come under umbrella of protection of a family, right? So let's say a chief will go, people marry my daughter, because they know if the chief is there, and chief will try to marry their daughter. Now the family will have children, and her family will be protected. They get access to farms, they get access to food, they get access to security, and even priority care for their children. These things were the reason why being married to a high-value person, being married to a tribal chief, was your protection. But now the women are forgetting, because they rely on the government, they rely on the society. Without society, women will not have choice but to find a husband. Right? But now your husband is, the government is your husband now. Okay? The police is now part of the male protection you have to access. Right? You no longer have to call your brother, or you have to call your uncle, or something big in the family to come and...
Or male members of the family, male members of the family to come and protect you.
To come and protect you, welcome, Kulan. And that's a problem. And this is why it's good, Uncle Rod, and this is why it came up, because you brought this thing to refresh people's mind, okay? For those ladies that are talking, I don't need a man, and you don't need a man. You do need a man, and you actually, there's no woman on the, even, those ladies that say they don't need a man, they rely on men on a day-to-day basis. Any woman that is listening to this right now, I'm telling you right now, you rely on a man some way or another, indirectly or not. You rely on a man to give you money. You rely on a man for protection. Your boss is a man. Even when you're working, your boss is a man. Okay, so for you, the lady that say, I don't need a man in my life, your boss pays you wages, pays you salary. That's the man. Okay, when you go to the doctor, it's the man that is the doctor. When you're in big trouble, is the man. The father is your man. The uncle is the man. Your brother is the man. Your neighbors are the men. When you get in trouble, when the thief are chasing you, trying to snatch away your bag, is the man. Your sugar daddy is the man. The man that take you on a date and buy you wigs and nails is the man that pays for it. Okay? You may not have a husband to say you don't have a man, but you are a side chick to a married man. That's a man that you have to rely on. Okay? So sometimes I think we need to remind people, men and women, that we need one another.
So thank you for your contribution. Let's listen to Kulang. Let's hear from you. Thank you. Shinos, I appreciate you for your contribution. Let's listen to Kulang.
Yes, Shin, how are you? Uncle Roddy, what's up?
I'm good.
Yeah. So I just want to clarify Kulang, the reason why I sent you a share link, because remember last night we were talking about, extended family, polygamy, and so basically Uncle Roddy, he really brought up some very important points about 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, the reason why men used to marry multiple wives is as a source of protection, because having a bigger family as a man, okay, you have more children, and those children will be helping you with farming, fetching water, for survival, basically, right? And he brought up a lot of important things, and this is why, just because it hit with me, because the things that we were talking about yesterday, that's why I shared this link with you.
Yeah, true. Actually, Shino, I'll appreciate Uncle Roddy. It's somebody older than us, and also he will educate and also let us learn much more. Because there has been a lot of change in the societies based on what people learn abroad. Because people really forgot their roots, people forgot their origin, people forgot wherever that they come from, and they forgot all the cultural norms and practices. Like now in the current situation, you find a lady standing out and say, "Oh, I cannot be a second wife, or I cannot be a stepmother, or I cannot be this and that." But you forgot that even you yourself, you came from a family that's an extended family, a very big family, whereby your own father has like 5 to 4 wives, and then you want to come out and manipulate the whole scenario and the story, and you say that, you know what, I cannot be this, I cannot be that. It's a man's choice. It's not your choice as a woman, because as an African lady, a man that possesses you has the ultimate right to decide what he needs to do with you, and at whatever time and whatever circumstances, because in the African traditions and all the norms, a man is like your God, it's like your leader, it's like your everything that you're supposed to listen, respect, and and do everything that he requests you to do. Because this is a culture that we are born with. This is a culture that we cannot kill. This is a culture that we can never ever. Because the feminism, the things to do with monogamy, the things to do with all this, these are all scripted things that are handwritten by a white man that sat down and designed people and said, this is what we are going to do in order to control these kind of people or to control certain society. If you go to Finland now, okay, if you go to Norway, if you go to Iceland, there are white men who have 3 wives who are white women in the same roof. This is for free, I'm telling you. But they never document it. They never talk about their side as white people. They always talk about the African side, how the African mindset needs to be dominated, how they need to interchange our intellectual thinking of our back days, of our cultures and everything. So actually, what Uncle Roddy said is honest truth, and what you said is true, because back in the days, a man would have a lot of wives. It's not purposely even only protection, it's also a source of wealth, because if you have a lot of wives, they will cultivate for you mega lands of maybe maize or whatever that you guys will cultivate, the farms you will do. So as a husband, your work is to make sure you protect those wives as they give birth to the children, as the children also grow with you to make your family large and huge, so that you guys can be, dominant in that certain society. That was the actually major factor of it. And also, back in the days, we would say the able men were few, the men that were conquerors were few. So people would buy and, always go into, let me say, they would go into the protection of the most strongest man around, because the strongest men by then are men that had vast lands, men that had a lot of cattle, men that had a lot of wives, and men that had a lot of children. Because these people were very hard to overpower, because if you talk about wealth, they have the cows, they have the horses.
Kulan, please, one second. Dr. Richard said, so wives are tractors and slavery. See, how do you think you are, excuse me, how do you think, Dr. Richard, how do you think your society survived? How do you think? There were men, young men, who defended the communities. Young men who acted like soldiers and policemen to defend your communities. Men defended you. Don't you know? Continue, please.
Yes. So I would add on that. I would add on that from Dr. Richard. That doesn't mean that wives were slaves or tractors, what it simply meant was it was an obligation for every married woman who is able, who is having a husband. It was her duty to stand in, because a man will always be there, like into the community ceremonies, community problems to be solved, especially if you're a high-profile man within a community. You've already have, like, let me say, you have 7 to 5 wives, okay? Your wives cannot wait for you to go to the garden and cultivate, because you already have community affairs to handle. You already have things to settle. You have your mates. Men would go out and hunt. Men would go out and expand their territories, and come back. So your wives wouldn't wait, because they are able, because remember back then, the women we had by then were actually much more stronger. They had the spiritual strength. They had the
resilient as well.
Women were very resilient. These are women that used to give birth without medical attention. These are women that used to give birth to 5, 4 kids without any medical attention, naturally, without anything. This is a woman that would get up at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. in the morning, goes fetch firewood, goes fetch water, comes back, makes lunch or makes breakfast for the husband or whatever they call it. And she was still on top of it. She goes to the garden to cultivate. She'll go look, fetch some yam. She'll go cultivate some maize. She'll go do some sweet potatoes, some Irish potatoes, because she knows by midday the husband will come from the hunting grounds. He has brought something. Today we're going to have some bushmeat. These were traditions, because women by then, they knew what it means to be a mother. They knew what it means to be on the stand ground, to protect the reputation of your family background, where you were raised from, and then come and protect your husband's background, the husband that married you. And the husband also will have to stand strong and protect his background, where he came from. Because by then, communal background was a very big factor. Because if you come from a community and then you come as a daughter and you come and underperform, it is usually a backfly. It backfires. If you are taken back, you have ruined the reputation of your people, of your clan, of your father, of your forefathers. They will say, oh, so-and-so's daughter was married to this clan and she wasn't able to contain her marriage because of her bad behavior. And they were punishable by the society. Some societies would, a woman that would either cheat or would either go and fail in her marriage, should be given a punishment. Some are even chased away to the bushes. Some are chased to the forest to go and stay there, because they are seen as a symbol of caste. They are seen as a symbol of people that are not earning up. But now, which is not the case with the current society, because now a woman can decide what she wants and be like, since I'm working, since I'm doing this, I don't need a man. You need a man in your life, because without a man, you can never be where you are today. Without a man, you can never be in any circumstances of life that you want to achieve, because it's a factual thing that people look into. But at some point, other people say, oh, we are trying to manipulate and devalue women. It's not devaluing women. This is the actual truth. Women need to know that they are designed to be the queens, okay? They're supposed to be there, but what you're supposed to do is protect your man's name, protect his image. Don't devalue him, don't belittle him. that makes you a traditional wife. That makes you a traditional woman. Even if things have changed, traditionality is the best option that you'll ever have in your entire life as a woman, because your man is your second father. Your father is your God. But if your man marries you, he becomes your God in your household. Because they say the virtue of a man is having a woman of substance that will stand by his side, either through the hard times, through the good time. You always be there to submit. Because as a lady, the symbol you carry is letter S. You're supposed to submit to every obligation that your husband does, to every obligation that your husband will do. Because there is nothing you need to. He has the money. He's going to provide. He's going to protect you. He's going to do everything to make sure. What else do you have to do? Letter S, submit to that. When you submit to that, it brings the whole point of a man living in a happy marriage, of a man living in a situation whereby he feels he's contented with what he has. Let's leave the mindset of saying, I'm a feminist, okay, and I don't need men to do this for me. I don't need men for me to stand out to be a strong woman. Okay, why are you a feminist and on top of it you're still giving birth? Why are you a feminist and on top of it you're still going to look for a job and apply? Why are you a feminist? You still have baby daddies. Why are you a feminist and you still in a position to see other men?
So Kulang, you've made a nice contribution. In fact, you are you spoke very well. I want to hear from daughter of David. Let's hear from so that we can round up. Thank you, Kulang. I appreciate you. You made a valid contribution. I want to hear from daughter of David. Let's hear. I want to hear a different opinion.
Okay. When it comes to relationship, for me, I look at it like what is the man's leadership is. What is the structure that he's trying to make me admit to before I agree to be in a marriage or in a relationship? Because then that will shape my understanding to be a helper to him to achieve his dreams and goals. So a lot of people blame the woman, as the problem. But for me, I look at men are the leaders, the foundation. If a man is not stable on his feet, he's unable to lead a woman correctly. So that's how I look at the relationship. How is the man leading?
Daughter.
So basically, it's a conditional submission, right? So you submit only under the condition, right?
No. She knows. The daughter of David, what she is saying in effect is she wants a perfect man. You see, that's what she said. If the man does not have, give her the impression that he's perfect, that he can lead home very well, she will not get involved in the marriage. Now, daughter of David, if you have been following my page, I want to point it out to you that there is no perfect man or perfect woman.
I think, sir, you've now quoted something in my mouth. That's not exactly what I said. When I said, what is the structure of leadership? What is it that he's presenting to me for me to follow? It doesn't mean I want a perfect man.
Okay.
And we all know that we had great leaders in the African community, starting from Mandela to Mugabe to all sorts, and they were all great leaders. They didn't start with perfectness, did they? But they had the leadership skills for their women to follow and submit. So that's what I'm looking for.
Good. Let's hear from Dr. Richard, because I know he has another opinion. Let's hear from Dr. Richard, please, because let's hear.
Yeah, thank you very much, Uncle Rode.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Richard there. My perspective on this, first of all, there's a definition of perfection. There is saying perfect. I don't think there is anything perfect 100%. Why are men failing with women and why are women failing with men? It is because we think that one is a source of one's life. No. No one is a source of one's life. What me I know is that a perfect man will remain a perfect man, and a perfect woman will remain a perfect woman.
How do you mean a perfect man or a perfect woman? Because I know there is no...
Okay, being able, thank you for that question. Being able to stand as a man, you handle your duty as a man, provide to the family as a man. You know me, I happen to be a person who was lifted in and a father and a mother. My dad gave birth to 15 kids or children. I am I'm the true African. I'm the last born.
So you are a product of a polygamous home.
No, yes.
Okay, you are a product.
No, not polygamy.
So your mama, excuse me, Dr. Richard. So your mama gave birth to 15 children.
15 children, yes.
Did your mama, one single woman, give birth to 15 children?
One single woman. She gave birth to twins twice. One single woman in Uganda, in East Africa, Uganda.
This is a record. Keep talking,
Yes.
please.
And I'm the last born in that family. But I saw my father stand as a man in that family, and I saw my mom leaving a home to go also play her role. She comes back with what a home needs, be it vegetable, because it was it was a down standard, low standard family. My dad was not educated and my mom was not educated, but they were in a foundation of Christianity. I think the white man's knowledge, but my dad stood as a man, said, fine, my children will not go and learn, adopt another character from outside. I must stand as a man to provide to them. I must stand as a man to show them the type of character me as a dad I am supposed to instill in them. The same thing mom stood and said, fine, I have come into this marriage to show that I'm a wife to this man. We are going to work and lift up this family. And for your information, my dad did not have a brother. My mom did not have a brother nor a sister. They were born one. So this man stood and said, fine, I will not look for the perfect side of my wife, but I need to show my perfect position as a man. And the woman also said, fine. My mother also said, fine. I will not wait for the perfection of my husband. I'm also going to stand as a lady, as I play my role in the family. So we were all able to believe. There was no sponsorship from a white man those years. I don't remember my dad flying anywhere or my mom, but it was locally in the bushes, in the field, in the garden. So there was the position of dominance. My dad could dominate his position as a man, and my mom also dominated her position as a mother. But when I left Africa and I went to America, things changed. So I thank God for Kulang. There are some things that I concur with him. In Africa, if we shall believe in our roles, how our grandfathers and our fathers stood, we can remain, a woman can be in her perfect position, and a man can remain in his perfect position. But you find that right now, because we have studied, we have this formal education, we have gotten these cross marriages, you find that now, I remember in the States, a lady could tell me, go and work and provide. If you're not going to provide here, you won't sleep here. So it was now slavery kind of relationship, but it was not African foundation set up whereby I, as a man, I must know my role as a man, and a lady has to know her role as a wife. And by so doing, I failed with that white lady, because there are some African norms where we were not concurring, we're not getting along at all. Fine, I'm a doctor, I'm a medical doctor. Yes, but there are things that does not write me off the foundation that I saw my dad lifting me up as a man, and I saw my mom standing as a woman. My mom died at 90. My dad died. My mom died at 95. My dad died at 99 years. But they were all standing in their position. Even in the sick bed, dad could call and say, fine, I did this and this and this, do this. Basing on the foundation he laid. Mom, the same, she could instruct us on her sick bed, basing on her foundation and what she believed in. So me, I believe that to say that somebody is not perfect, that is self-excuse. But what's the degree of perfection? Definition of a degree of perfection. If I know that, fine, I can be perfect as a man, and I remain as a man, my do's and don'ts, what I know is right and what I know is wrong, yes, I will instill it in my family. The same also, the mother of the family also has to know what's the degree of perfection. How can I define it? Okay, fine, this is right and this is wrong. To know that in African setup, can it work or no? So I think that perfection is according to how you rate things or you rate yourself. That's what I can.
I agree. Let's hear from daughter of David. She said she want to contribute a bit too.
Yes, I think what he was saying was point on. It also led me to think, right, that could it be the reason why he's a great leader to his family? Could it be the programming of the foundation that his family did was the exhibit of great leadership skills? That's why he's able to carry that same foundation on into his next generation. So it all has to do with the programming of that individual for them to be able to lead a woman. Is the programming that we have. A lot of in the recent days, we have men being programmed that are African to live as Europeans, to lead their wives as European, forgetting that the wife is African. She might come from a stable foundation, and you are trying to lead me with European customs. It's not going to work if my program believes in the African tradition of the leadership of a man. So that's where it kind of goes wrong when men that are Africans try to lead African women based on European customs programming, if that makes sense.
So, Shinos, do you have?
Yeah. So what?
You can
Go ahead, Dr. Richard. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, the daughter of David, what you have talked is very right. I remember I saw my African brothers, sorry to mention this. You find that they sleep in vehicles, in cars outside the compound, the parking lot, and the wives sleep inside because they want to fit the European culture. There is where we are not supposed to over-adjust and go beyond the boundaries. If I know that I'm truly an African, yes, I am now alone, yes, I know what worked for my dad, if it was right, will work for me and my mom. But if it was not right, I will stand as a man.
I did not get this point very well. Dr. Richard, you said what worked for your dad and mom will work for you. What did you say? I did not get it right.
Yeah, I said that if I know that what worked for my dad, according to my own evaluation, can work for me, I'll let it work for me. Mm-hmm. But there are people, as we talk, there are people who don't have their foundation backgrounds. They have gone to Europe. They want the standard of Europe to work and right off the African setup, African standard, which is very wrong. I said, fine. Me, I grew up under my dad and under my mom. I saw what worked for them. So me, I also...
Okay, now, Dr. Richard, please. Now you live in USA, according to you. And did you know your mom and your dad had similar cultures? They understood themselves. You understand me? What I call cultural similarities. They grew up and they had the same culture. You understand me? The same way of life. Now you are living in USA. Let's assume you marry a white woman or a woman from a, excuse me. And now let's assume you marry a woman from a different culture who don't understand your culture, and both of you come together and start come together to raise a family. Don't you know that you may not live how your parents lived because that woman has a different culture, may not understand your way of life.
Okay, now before we get married, we have to balance the equation. We have to share fine. We have to agree, because we know what works for me and what will work for my wife. I told you that I failed with the white lady, based on cultures. I failed with the white lady.
Okay,
I failed. I have to confess that, because I said fine. If you have marriage is not 100% that I'm right. It has to be 50-50. What works for you and what doesn't work for me? What works for me and what doesn't work for you? Then you contribute that 50 that works for you. I contribute. That works for me. Said fine. Where do we fail? Is differences, the cultural differences. Cultural differences. So I believe.
But okay, now see, Dr. Richard, you see now, Dr. Richard, please, sorry to interrupt you. You said, you said the marriage failed as a result of cultural differences.
Yes.
Now, there are so many people who are in interracial marriages or intertribal marriages. They don't share similar cultures, yet their marriage survived.
Okay. There is surviving in marriage, but there is celebrating marriage. So they are just surviving. They are surviving because of something. There's what has brought them together. Maybe documents, maybe children, but marriage is worth a celebration.
Okay, when I say the marriage survived, you know, when you survive challenges, when you overcome, let me put it the right way, they overcame the challenges of cultural diversity. That is, they were able to overcome their challenges. Do you understand what I mean now? So there are so many, and this is what brings us to the question now, why I began this program. Tolerance, your ability to endure. There are people who cannot endure in their marriages. Let's say they cannot tolerate the man or the woman. Maybe the man became a drunkard. The man started putting up attitude and so many, maybe financial mismanagements and the rest. Now, this is why I said, nobody is perfect. There is no perfect human being. I am not perfect. My wife is not perfect. You are not perfect. We have our weaknesses. And I spoke about women of the olden days. How you told us now about your mother and your father, how they lived. It does not mean that they were perfect, but they were able to understand themselves, and they were able to overcome their challenges in life. There is no how you can tell me, excuse me, let me come. There is no how you, let me just finish, please. There is no how, there is no perfect marriage. But what comes in when marriages are not perfect is your ability to understand, tolerate, and endure. Because we all have our weaknesses. So there are so many people watching me who are in interracial marriages, yet their marriages worked. You can come in now.
Okay, now, there are things we can tolerate, and there are things that are intolerable. When I am abusive to a lady, I don't think whether that lady is an angel, she won't tolerate me. When a lady is abusive to a man, okay, fine, every time you come in the house, you yell at me, you African, you don't understand. They come in, you whites don't understand, you'll find that it will become intolerable. So those parents of ours tolerated, and those people are tolerating now. Okay, now let us agree. I'm now in Africa. As I talk now, I'm in Africa. The parents, they're those who are tolerating because, if I break away from this woman, I will not have bread on my table tomorrow. If I break away from this man, I don't know another route, another step of life to take. So they are tolerating the pain. They're tolerating the pain, but they're not tolerating the marriage. There's tolerating the pain because of the condition and the situation you're going through. But there's tolerating acceptance, be it poverty, limitation, we are sleeping hungry, we are struggling, but we accept one another. I do understand her. She does understand me. There I will tolerate. But when a man comes, you slap a lady comes, you pour water on me, I think even if there's tolerance there, it will now turn into zero tolerance.
Yeah, that one is extreme. When you abuse your wife or you abuse your husband, that one is extreme. That one is extreme. That one is not the way forward. I understand you where you are going. An abusive marriage, that one is extreme. But then there are still people who tolerated it.
Sir, if yes, there are people that tolerated it, right? Okay, I'll point back to our histories as Africa. We tolerated abuse from the other European countries, and we tolerated for years. But did it mean that we deserve that treatment?
We don't.
Exactly. It's the same thing as relationship. Two people can be in a relationship. If there is no mutual understanding, if there is no foundation built based on respect and boundaries, it's not fair that the other person should stay in the relationship based on the name marriage. I disagree, because I saw a lot of African women suffering in the hands of men that were not, great leaders, just for the fact of the marriage or for the children, which now caused effect in their future generations.
Daughter of
So for me, I don't think it's correct.
daughter of David,
Yeah.
there were so many women, and there are women who tolerated abuse, not that they loved to be abused by their husbands, but because of the love they have for their children.
It still does not make it right.
Excuse me, let me come now. See, many women, for the love they have for their children, did not want to leave their family, they did not want to divorce their husbands, because they know the implications, they know the consequences. If they leave their husband, if they divorce their husbands, their children.
Sir, based on research, right, when a child grows up in abusive family, right, that's more likely when that child grows up, will also abuse his wife. Okay?
It's not true.
So
That is white man's. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, continue, please.
As an African man, as a leader, you are now telling me that it is acceptable that these women went through all this pain just for the fact of their children or for the fact of the marriage. It still doesn't make it right. It's like you telling me because I murdered someone by mistake is still acceptable. It's not acceptable, because this is the problem we have with leaders that cannot speak the truth. When something is wrong, it's wrong.
I'm not telling you abusing a woman or a man is right. What I'm telling you is love conquers all. You see, I've seen women growing up, who endured infidelity, who were in abusive marriages because of the love they have for their children, because they knew if they should leave their marriages, a lot of things will go wrong. Two wrongs cannot make a right. So these women stayed in their marriages because of their children, and at the end, they overcame.
Can you name the percentages of men that went, that grew up in that foundation, that grew up to be great family leaders? Can you name the percentage?
Now I cannot go I cannot go about asking men how their family setup was.
We can't just say that this worked without correct evidence that this worked. We can't just go by evidence of your mouth that this worked for these women and this worked for these children just by us speaking. It has to be concrete evidence that if
Okay, I want to ask you, daughter of Dion,
relationship,
daughter of David, I want to ask you a question. Let's assume you are married to a man and you have 6 or 7 children, let's say, and then getting to 60 years, your husband begins to misbehave and become abusive. What are you going to do? After having 5 children, and maybe you are about getting grandchildren, or you've gotten some grandchildren, what do you do?
Like you are saying, I'm speaking from experience, right? I've also been married to an abusive husband, and he knew that he was abusive. He also knew that I was a good wife, you know. So when I did make that decision to leave, the relationship, he didn't hold me fault for it, but he continued to be a great father to his kids. Okay, so that didn't affect the stability of my kids, because he's still involved in the stability of the children. So for me, going back to the research of African women has tolerated a lot under the fact that a woman should tolerate pain. A woman should be the one to endure the pain to her cost, which is not correct, because the man is not willing to do so. If a woman was the one abusing the man, if a woman was now the one doing all those things to the man, the community would have raised out, the community would have probably flogged that woman or did something to that woman based on the abuse. So we now have to look at this and say that it's time that it stop, and educate our black men and our black women how to be great leaders and how to set a good examples as leaders of the African community. We should not applaud this behavior.
No, not at all. Nobody's applauding the behavior, but I'm just saying there are situations where some women endured. That is, I'm not applauding abuse. I'm not encouraging abuse, but I'm telling you, some people endured.
But you are not saying it directly, but you are indirectly saying that it was correct.
I did not say it was correct to abuse anybody. I didn't say it. Listen to me very well. What I said was, see, some women, for the sake of their children, stayed in such marriages because they don't want another person to come and murder their own children, to come and replace their position. Let's hear from Ndua, please.
Hey, my brother and everyone on this platform, I greet you all. It's a very important topic, my brother, and I believe such a topic, it was going to be good if it was discussed on a continuous basis, because some people are getting healed, yeah? It is not good that when people are staying together, one of them is abused or the other is also abused. It is wise that when 2 people are married or are in a relationship, and the marriage or the relationship should move smoothly. I don't think, as a man, I'm married and imagine abusing my wife, the one who gave me these handsome children, the one who's looking after the family. I will be the worst fool here on earth to just abuse the one I said on the first day, I love you. And she accepted my proposal. Also, it will be also not wise for my wife to abuse me as her husband, knowing that I am the head of the family, knowing that I am the father of the kids, knowing very well that I am the leader. And as a leader,
Ndwedwe, please, let me come in now. Ndwedwe, please. You are speaking fine, but let me come in. You spoke about it is important your wife recognize you as the leader of the family. Now, please, sorry to interrupt you. There are some women who don't recognize you as the leader. They say it's 50-50. That is the contention here. Some women don't agree that you are the leader. Some say everyone is equal in the marriage. Continue.
that's a very good question, my uncle, Rodi. I'm a factual man. I'm a straightforward man. If in this marriage I'm the one who proposed you as a woman, for example, as a woman, I proposed her, I proposed love, she accepted me. And I am the one who's supposed to be the provider doing everything at home. The 50-50 does apply in these ways. She gives you children, she cook at home. Yes, we have to assist each other then there. But the fact that you are the head of the family, it does not move away. You are the father, you are the husband, you are the provider, you are the head of this family. But it does not mean that as the head of family, you should not assist her in the kitchen. You should not assist her with kids. You have to do responsibilities as well together. But that does not substitute that you are now a wife. You as a man, no. You are still the head of the family. And you are the father. It does not change. Love your wife, love your children. And if love is in both people, I believe there are greater blessing in that particularly man. Because yes, it's true. There are ladies who want to be more than men, or who want to supervise men, or who want to control men. I put it like that. For me, I am against someone who control the other ones. It's not good at all. Let me tell you one thing. A wife submit and a husband respect, provide. It's very, very important, and they give protection. It's very, very important that. And as Africans, we have ran away from such great responsibility of different genders. Like me as a man, you find a man has run away raising his own kids. Definitely, if you're failing to raise your own kids that you brought here on earth and you have got a wife, how do you expect the wife to react towards you and you can't even raise your kids? I do understand economic issues. They are there, definitely, but a man fight for his family. A man try. It does not just sit down and read a newspaper. It's true, many ladies disrespect men, and also many men disrespect their wives. I am saying we should both of us respect each other. I cannot just say I'm your husband and on the other hand I'm abusing you because I am the source of food or I'm the provider at home. I will use that as a way of enslaving you or of abusing you. That's a wrong way. It should not apply. Let us move from the mentality of our grandparents that abuse women. We are where we are because of women. We have to respect them. But also them, they have to play their part. Submit to a man. Become a wife. For me, let me tell you the truth before I end. My wife submit to me. She will kneel down, giving me food. Not that I'm abusing her. She respects me. I'm her husband. And she knows that I am the leader of the family. And I also respect her. How do I respect her? I provide at home. I do everything that my kids require. And I try by all means to assist, to do everything that my wife, she thinks is the best thing that I can do at home. Thank you so much, my anger.
Thank you, Ndwandwe. Thank you so much for your contribution. Daughter of that.
Share something.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, you are free. You are free. You are free.
Just kind. Yeah,
Dr. Richard, you are free.
Thank you, first of all. I thank you, first of all, moderator, and I thank you. I thank all both the contributors. Let us first of all agree that the African women are under suppression. Is it true or wrong, Uncle Rudy?
This is also, I will answer yes and no. I'll answer yes because here we answer, there are questions we answer yes and no. So continue.
Okay. What I do believe, as me, we share different views. I don't say that my views are right to everybody, but as for me, I do believe that African women are under prisons of men. And some men also, if we talk about percentage, 80% of African ladies are under oppression of men. And maybe almost 40 or 30, maybe 20% men are also under abuse. But let us believe that we African men. Now, when you go out, where we have been, until some of us return back home, you find it that it's also different. I'm not a spokesperson to African women, neither am I a spokesperson to African men. They are our views so that we learn. Iron sharpens men. Thank you, first for creating this page. I believe in pain is all round, but you find that women are taking the percentage of the bitter pills. But I think the gentleman who has just contributed, thank you. He says that he is celebrating his wife and his wife celebrates him. I wish every family could be like that, but it's unfortunate that it's not like that. But me, what I know is that it is agreement and it is understanding. And also this one happens, you will end up getting a lady who grew up under abusive family, or in the daddy was abusive, mommy was also abusive. So at the end, that same pain will be shifted to the men. The same men also grew up under daddies who are very dangerous, arrogant, abusive, they beat women. You'll find that the same man will also have the same character. But me, what I believe in is that it is all about one's choice. What type of man do I want to be? Will I always imitate others? What can I learn from others? Like now we are here. Madame daughter, David's daughter, the daughter of David has just also contributed her past, that she was in abusive marriage. Now you find that if that abusive marriage, I don't know, an African or a European, I don't know, but you find that how many ladies are crying out and how many men are crying out. And what is the cause? The cause is lack of understanding and lack of appreciating the little that we do to ourselves or to one another. Me, I'm in this age of 40s, climbing, going to 50s. I am planning to wed. I'm thinking about doing that, but I find that there are things that I consider. What type of a family do I need? And what type of a lady do I need? So you find that before we enter into these things, it has always made us, we fall back into African setup, whereby you find that culture sit, parents sit, aunties sit, and they say, fine, lady, our son acts like this and like this. our son, our daughter acts like this and like this. So before the two getting together, they have now known the do's and the don'ts of the family, either families. So that saves a lot. But whereby we meet in the street Z, we went to the street B, and we are now calling ourselves wife and husbands. We don't know our background.
Dr. Richard, please let me come in now, please. You spoke about knowing the family background of the woman you want to marry. For instance, this is what you are saying, that the two family knowing themselves very well. That is not a guarantee to successful marriage. I know so many people who went to their village, married from the same tribe, the same kind of, yet the marriage collapsed. I've met people who are in interracial marriage here in Europe. They met their wives in Europe here, and the marriage is still progressing. That you married somebody who share the same cultural similarity with you, it's not a guarantee that that marriage is going to be a success. Now, let me go further. Sorry I don't mean to interrupt you, but we are learning. You see, while growing up, I listened to my elders. That was my father's generation. They say, if a man or a woman, if a man or a woman marries the first wife, let me use a man for instance. If a man marries the first wife, after 2-3 years, and he chased away, divorced the woman, the family, the kindred men, may understand. Maybe they misunderstood themselves. It didn't work. After 3-4 years, if the same man go and marry the second wife, few years down the line, the man then divorces the second wife, come to the kindred men, say, man, I had to chase this woman away because this woman shows no respect. Second one, this is the second marriage now that has failed. If the same man goes to marry the third wife and calls the kindred men, nobody will follow him again. They said, man, shake yourself. There is something wrong with you. Are you listening?
That's correct.
Good. You married the first wife. You came with problem. You said the first wife was not good for you. You divorced the first wife. You gave excuses why you divorced the first wife. You went and married the second wife, and you divorced the second wife, and then you came with excuses that second wife, you found fault in her. Now, if you call me, even me, if you call me for the third wife, I will not follow you. I will not even listen to you. The fault is not in those women. The fault is in that man. You need to evaluate yourself. This is what our elders say. And that's how they run their things. You cannot see. There is something our elders say. They say any man that wants to marry, or let me put it this way, any man that wants to have a successful marriage must have a blind eye. It does not mean you need to be literally blind. But there are things you've got to be blind to. The woman's faults, the woman's weaknesses, at times, the woman's bad behaviors. That's why they say if you want to have a successful marriage, you need to have a blind eye. There are things you turn blind eyes to as a man. That is what makes you a man. I was talking to my youngest son the other day. He was, talking. I said, boy, listen, as a man, there are things you should tolerate and there are things you should endure. Some people say, how can you endure marriage? There are things you endure as a man. You endure in order to succeed, in order to have progress. Everything is not about, no, I cannot take it. You've got to take certain things in order to progress in life. There are things you've got to endure. Even if that thing is paining you, you are not down with it. You've got to take it. If finding fault in people, you will live alone. Anybody you see That's why I said nobody is perfect. If you keep finding faults, now this woman is disrespectful, this man is like this person is that, I cannot take it. If you keep finding faults, there is no perfect person. That's it.
What I wanted to say is you have spoken with wisdom, but I also want to point out what I was trying to say, that every relationship you have conditions. Even though you can endure something in the relationship to make it work, there has to be a certain point of what you can endure as an individual. Makes sense? Like, just like some people are designed to endure a lot of pain in their life. They can take it very well. And then there are some people that, that little pain, they cannot take it, So it depends on the individual for them to know themselves and also know who their husband is in due time, what they can endure and what they cannot endure. Makes sense? So there has to be a discussion in place before the marriage, of both parties. This is what I like, this is what I don't like. And the woman, the man, they both discuss this to come into agreement of the boundaries.
Hey, daughter of David, people, you said you spoke about having prior discussion before the marriage. That is, you discuss things before the marriage, what you want and what you don't want. You forgot that people change.
Yes, people change.
Okay, now let me come. Why do people who vowed to love themselves till death do them apart, till death do them part, divorce along the way?
There's a difference between people change, right, to progress, and some people change to deprogress, right? So from my perspective, if I am in a relationship, we are building ourselves to progress, not to go behind. Okay? So we must be on the same page, if that makes sense.
But life is not a straight road. Life is not a one-way road.
But if your husband understands that you are all there for an assignment, right? You as a woman, you are there also for an assignment, right? There's some kind of agreement there of what you are building and where you want to go as a couple together. Makes sense? So if one is doing something that is not making you progress, so how much time can you endure that? Like, for example, I've made examples of domestic abuse. The first time he beat you, you say we are enduring. The second time he beat you, you say you are enduring. The third time he abuse you, you say you are enduring. The man knows what he's doing. You cannot tell me the man don't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's an abuse of power because he thinks he can do it and carry on getting away with it. You understand? So this is where the problem comes in. An abuse of power and authority. Knowing the effects that is going to cause on that woman. Knowing the effects is going to cause on that household. A man knows these things. Let's say enduring. There's different endurance. You can't expect someone to endure to their death. It's not good.
That's not right. I agree with you. That's not right. That's not right. Well, I want to bring this broadcast to an end. I have spent so much. I plan to stay an hour, but I've spent more than 2.5 hours. So I'm tired of sitting. Dua, it seems you want to say something.
Thank you. And we really appreciate the way you're broadcasting your messages. Do you know what? I saw one of your messages in a group back home in South Africa. I'm currently in Australia now. And I was just laughing. I say, wow, Uncle Robbie is all over the world now. And this group of mine, it's a church group, but it was shared by a pastor. I know you're not a person of religion. I definitely know that. But because you have shared a certain message that it has left a great impact in people. And please continue. Your advices are very, very important. It was about that message say when you are over the age of 50, don't borrow money, something like that.
Okay.
Or don't give people your money. Just save because you're almost closer to retirement. You will need your money. Yes, thank you so much. Keep it up. And I wish you could just live until the age of 100.
Thank you so much. You too, I wish it. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, guys, I want to bring this broadcast to an end. I planned to spend an hour and I've spent more than 2.5 hours. So I enjoyed the program too. You know, we are here to learn. You know, I learned from the guys that came up to speak. I learned from everybody. From Dua Ndua, he spoke like a real man and a good husband and a good father. The Dr. Richard, daughter of David, and Shinos, and the whole of other people, Kulanga, and the whole of other people who came to speak. You guys made useful, or do I say valid contributions. I appreciate you guys. So, guys, I'll be coming back later today to, bring in more programs your way. So that's it. See you guys. If you've not been following my page, follow my page and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Uncle Rodi. That's how we roll here. We don't fight. We don't quarrel. We are here to learn, okay? Each time I intend to bring people in, you can come in and tell us and teach us too what we don't know. So I want to say thank you and have a beautiful day ahead. Elizabeth, I appreciate you. Thank you too.